we were playing Battleship, and I went to put down a hit or miss token, and accidentally flicked it into my ship, and destroyed my whole side of the board.
Good job.
Tabletop simulator. That's totally how Battleship works in real life.
So, let's see here. You lot are all freshly assembled down at the docks. Freeport does not have any dedicated airship docks. It only has the docks at the waterside, and airships are simply expected to alight upon the surface of the water in order to get access to the dock services and to the warehouses and such. It's generally not a problem, but it does mean that the Dulsum's gangplank does have to come down 2 stories unless you want to submerge the pylons to do it.
I'm fine with extra long gangplank. What about the rest
That's
of you?
pretty much the way to go.
Just say screw them and go fly with the town and use a ladder instead.
I could just fall. I could just literally just jump off. Whatever I'm going to land on is going to be really flat.
Technically, we do have that feather fall sections that drop down like that.
But how do you get back up?
Well, that's the trick.
Yeah, that's the trick. Also, the feather fall won't work on me.
Well, that's not our problem.
Yeah, you're
expected on the town hall.
You're expected to hit the ground and make the ground move out of the way.
It works.
I have constant feather fall. I was just worried about the crew.
Yeah, it's their way out of bad situations.
GG Nori, later nerds, jumps.
Lol.
So, the 4 of you have reunited after a couple of weeks. Probably it took to get everything scavenged together, and I'm not 100% convinced that Fulton is has yet finished taking in the gravity of what's happened to Garazan. He seemed fairly flummoxed by it when we parted.
Well, he would have finished taking it in if an airship hadn't then shown up.
I profess my undying love for and may or may not marry.
Yeah.
It's not the Planet Express ship.
See, just airship? Okay. Just Golem? Okay. Both of these, gonna need a minute.
Is there any way to zoom everything on MapTool? All the words seem all tiny.
If the text is tiny, the text is fixed size, no matter what your zoom level is.
No. It didn't used to look so tiny.
Have you gotten a new monitor?
Nope.
Then
Your
I
eyes shrunk?
have no explanation for you.
That's a good question, actually. Have your eyes shrunk?
Let me feel around in my eye socket. No, still can't pull them out.
Not trying hard enough.
There we go. So, what are you lot up to, other than possibly trying to occasionally fight your way through the crowds that are gathering to gawk?
Well, I have no problem with crowds anymore, and that feels amazing.
Well, I am apparently sailing a ship again, so yay!
Yes, now Garazin can do as Fulton can in a hurry and just look at a point on the horizon and walk, and people will get out of your way.
Yes. The only difference between me and you, though, is I have to be a little more careful, because I can legitimately crush people to death.
Yes, if you step in the wrong place, you've squashed a halfling.
Oopsie doodles.
It's okay, it's only a halfling. It's only half a crime.
Wow. Lol. Well, I'm going to get aboard that lovely airship because it looks lovely and I want on. Plus, naturally, Gorson's going to inspect like the guns and the engines and the such.
Well, the guns aren't there yet. You still need to make them.
Yeah, we haven't got a complement of the guns yet.
So you're going to bring that up to me, presumably.
Yeah, it's also why I was able to get the ship as quickly.
Yep, the ship is currently armed with 20 cardboard cutouts of cannons.
I do have to ask about the ballista. If that was if those came with it.
One or two of those they probably would have had in stock. So yes, you do have your top deck guns.
Okay.
Oh god, cardboard cutouts. Do you have the trebuchet and the rest?
Yes, he just confirmed that the top guns are available. Both my anti-air launchers and the trebuchets.
Okay, so the giant pile of pointy sticks that fires in the air in that vague direction. Yes, that thing.
Yeah, it's the screw you, you're not flying on my ship.
Really, seriously, end the thing up. If you aim any other direction, it's going to murder our crew members. It's in the center, and a cone from the center is bad. If you're not aiming up anyway.
Yeah,
yes, if you aim upwards,
yes.
but...
That is the point. No, it's actually several points. Quite
Several
more
thousand.
than several.
The golem comes aboard. The deck
ship tilts.
creaks, but does not buckle.
As it will always creak.
On that note, she would probably want to be the first one that came aboard.
She is the captain.
Exactly, making sure that they don't think anything's odd with the giant golem walking up.
You're currently operating with about half of your designed crew based on who you could manage to vet while this thing was having the finishing touches put onto it. You will have to get the rest of the crew before it is fully operational.
Right, okay.
It's not bad looking. How'd you get a hold of this thing?
Lots and lots of gold.
Aye, same here, but seriously, how'd you get a hold of this thing? Mine cost me a wizard. This looks a bit more than a wizard.
You know, out of character being as we skimmed over that little...
How the fuck did you get a hold of this exactly?
Well, if I recall correctly, they went to Stonekeep or Roxhold, one of the two. Roxhold, probably.
The main... it was probably either Roxhold or Cragstown.
And they just hired a legion of, like, expert wizards and a whole lot of dudes, I guess, just shipwrights and just
They
went at
have
it.
an airship construction area there.
That's Roxhold's main industry. They don't make any money off of the 100 million acres of sheep just outside the city.
Wait, did we just find New Zealand?
No comment.
Well, the halflings live there, so yes.
Oh. So that explains that. You went to the capital of airshippery and made the grandest airship ever.
They showed up with more gold than anyone was paying them right now. They're like, okay, we're making you a ship.
I'm sure Sheena had to use some of that high diplomacy to get them to also, but she can do that. A little greasing of that and money.
It really was an obscene amount of money.
Let's just say that you have wrecked the economy of Roxhold temporarily, because that region is a little bit destitute for reasons that, well, if you're seeing the coloring on the map, and if you remember what's happening in the Elven territories in the approximate region of coloring, just carry on from there.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not to say that her money was not welcome. It was simply surprising. Also, the Southern Kingdoms are on friendlier terms with the Circle C alliance these days.
Considering the desperate strait they're in, I'd hope so.
This is the
Still
best
won't-
time to go harboring grudges.
Still won't find orcs, half or otherwise, wandering freely in their streets, but, there's more dwarves and there's more elves.
Small steps.
Small steps.
If they ever go to the Southern Kingdoms, if Fulton has to be there, he'll keep his helmet on.
It comes off.
Only when he's no longer Pope.
The last time it came off with his head inside, so I suspect so.
Alright, so this is a lovely ship, and I'm damned impressed is what I am, but how to put this? Cardboard don't fire, you know that, right?
Is this literal at this point?
I assume there wasn't any cardboard, but
Let's assume wooden cutouts. They're there so that if you open the gun ports, something is there, but it's not meant to pass inspection.
aye, these be temporary, I'm supposing.
Yes, I wanted to return to everyone before you worried where all the money went.
Aye, give us the grand tour.
And so she would.
Let's go
It's
for
an
the
airship.
pictures I think we have.
Which includes a humongous amount of repair and building material in the bottom deck, including everything you would need to make those cannons. You just did not have enough craftsman time to do so in the time budget.
Already I have a shitload of iron down here.
How many of the gunslingers was I able to actually recruit?
For the sake of simplicity, let's assume 50% of each division of things that you were planning to get.
Okay. On the half C's, should I round down or up on that one?
Round up.
Or one could just be a halfling. Okay.
They have to
one-
fucking steal your wallet or something? Jeez.
No, one's just the torso.
Lol.
I'm the quartermaster.
God damn it.
Oh,
That
that's
only works if
awful.
it's just a halfling torso.
So yes, Garazan, I was hoping you were able to help me with this.
What?
Well, those materials are for our weaponry. I've been able to find some men that can help you and assist you, but I was hoping you'd lead the effort.
I can put together, well, you're wanting cannons, so cannons it be.
I can make a single cannon.
It'll be
I
the
got a lot more
largest
than
cannon.
one cannon, it's just a matter of time.
He just puts it together in one giant cannon, puts it right underneath the ship.
I'd love to do that. Can I do that? I'm okay with having a mecha attack gun here, okay?
First of all, you are not mounting a wave motion cannon on an airship frame.
Okay, can I do at least a Mac cannon then?
Let's just go with the broadsides.
Railgun?
No.
I got a long list of big ass guns here. Just give me a second.
No, we need a PPC.
If I at least to give me the golden gun for fucking, GoldenEye, Christ.
An LRM-20.
There are not enough D6s in MapTool.
Liar. Alright then. Yeah, I can completely create, it is completely a matter of time. I don't need to sleep in or eat anymore, so that helps, but you're asking for at least 20 of these things.
Yeah, we have... I already did the math.
Oh, okay. I thought I had to sit down and do the math. Good. Yay.
What is your craft check? What is your crafting bonus
Engineering.
for this? Yes.
34.
You cannot critically fail this.
Hey, I don't make a lumpy curved cannon. Good for me.
It is just a matter of time, and bearing in mind that you no longer need to eat or sleep, but I imagine the people helping you do. It would nevertheless take you 3 weeks, including breaks. And yes, you still need to take breaks. You're a machine, not a machine.
Yeah, I assume your mental acuity would need at least a little refocusing once in a while.
Yeah, I start to get really, really bored, and then suddenly cannons start looking like penises, and yeah.
Isn't that all the time for him?
I mean, it is, but at the same time, like, there's blatant penis and there's not so blatant penis.
But the problem
What are you
is
trying to tell us about Garage?
he just starts talking about it to everyone around him, and that's when they all leave. They're going on break.
I'm saying
Hey,
I get
Lassie,
delusional when it's been 200 hours of making long tubes. It's like when someone in the hot dog factory goes just stark raving mad after a while. You can only make so many long tubes before it just gets to you.
What about somebody in the industrial lube factory?
They just get slimy.
Wonderful.
I will never stop referencing that.
Alright, so the thing is, I can make your cannons, but it's going to take me 3 weeks even with what help you got. Assuming we have that to spare, it's doable.
I still need to recruit about half the crew. We're only at half complement right now. So
You
more
got
time would not...
posters?
Well, I just got here.
You gonna recruit the cutout out there, or do you have something in mind?
There's some specifics I'm looking for. Obviously men of skill, and we need men that will not be afraid of where we might be going.
I hate to be breaking it to you, but I was scared shitless on most of that, so I think you might not find anyone.
Let me correct myself. We need people that are brave enough to face those fears and still come through doing their job.
Ah, okay, not curl the ball and cry, gotcha. And you want my suggestion? There'll be folks, especially Dwarfkin and some elves, I suppose, who fought at points at the, what's it called again? The Gap or something? Ah, the Scarred Neck. Folk who fought at the Scarred Neck. If you can get some veterans of that, like I said, dwarves live long enough to where I'm pretty sure they should still be around. Point being, they'd have the moxie and the skill to do what you're talking about. So if you're going to start anywhere, that's what I'd suggest. Veterans of that.
The Scarred Neck, you say?
Yeah, just anyone who, because according to at least Gorson's backstory, people occasionally go there to just solve problems with guns en masse.
Ah, gotcha. No, you wouldn't find large numbers of, especially not gathered, and a lot of them will be, like, the others of you who are from here, Fulton especially. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that's what I'm saying. They're probably not there
a
now
crew
anymore.
of mites and gnomes who will kill each other given the slightest opportunity, go to Juhal Creek. If you want dwarves and hardy humans, go to the Ragged Axes.
Well, I always suggested the Scarred Neck, because that's where fighting occurs, and I'd assume there'd be some veterans from there, if not there actively. It's the only place I can think of that's full of, like, eldritch horrors on a daily basis.
If you want some ridiculously alignmented kobolds and orcs, go to Alastria.
You don't want the orcs.
Oh, you got a problem with Varg's team now?
I got a problem with Varg's kids. I think one of them sees one of them there's like permanent true sight, and like they're all children of snakes. It's fucking creepy, man.
We should just obviously go recruit the old party then. Nothing bad'll happen.
Oh yes, recruit the 20th level fucking like death snake man. That's gonna turn out great.
So here's a question.
In my head canon, they're an evil party now.
Has the ship been hollowed yet?
I would be strange if it wasn't.
No, the
Where are we
inside
storing
is completely
everything?
solid.
No, the spell, hallowed. Hallowed.
Oh, that blessed. I'm just like, do you think we were somehow like phasing through the decks? Hallowed. Okay.
That is my best favorite pun of the day, right there. Accidental too.
I don't know, has it? Has our ship been blessed in the name of whatever?
It does not yet have that.
Okay.
So we need to get
Because
this...
that is something Fulton would notice immediately on stepping on board.
So we need to get this thing blessed. We need to get the rest of the crew together, and I need to craft those guns. Anything else?
Well, Captain, with your permission, I'm going to run drills with the crew while he's making the guns.
Gladly, please make yourself as familiar with them as possible.
Yay, something for my profession sailor to do.
Seems we all have our jobs. Fulton
Where
on blessing, Shinlar on recruitment,
Because this
Elathel
is...
on training. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes. As the only one of these things that requires a specific place to be happening, Shenalar, where would you like to go recruiting for trustworthy and brave souls to man the remainder of your ship? Because there were plenty in Roxhold, but they're pretty much exclusively human, and they're pretty much exclusively I signed on to a ship because that's what you do in Roxhold.
Yeah, especially if they have a history of a little bit of racism, she doesn't want them.
You've already vetted them. The ones here are at least the ones who know that tongues need to be bitten if you want a job.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, the officers are your companions immediately around you, and the people that you could really vet well, e.g., the ones from 3rd up level.
Mm-hmm.
So you can trust them. But the crew is just crew. So where do you want to go to recruit additional crew?
Well, so far we have the suggestion from Grozin. What else do we know about places to recruit at?
The Circle C is inhabited by a wide mix of races. It's 4 major cities, being Freeport, Helmrise, Blackwater, and for some reason not clickable, so I can't pull it up. Dry River, there we go. In the middle, at the north end of the Circle C, let me put this up for the stream. There we go. In the middle, at the north end of the Circle C, there is the Scarred Neck, which is a magic-torn wasteland. There are hundreds of abandoned villages. There are a few dozen abandoned cities, including Rygersom, where you guys have been before. And it's mostly chaos magic and wild magic gone completely rampant on the countryside. You only really have shelter from all of that in the really steep river valleys, such as Jewhall Creek, where let's call it enthusiastically competitive population of mites lives on the west side of the river and gnomes on the east. If they ever cross the river, they usually do so with an equal amount of metal to each individual. The Elven territories are mostly populated by elves, although they have lots of scholars and warriors among them. They have 2 major cities, Ketlir and Sialanen, and sparsely inhabit the entire forested region from the wall all the way to the mountains in the north, where mostly it's dilapidated dwarven settlements along the mountains. You don't really get into the still present solidly dwarven civilization, as it still remains, until you're on the Ragged Axes. There are no maps to the mountain holds. You have to either know them, or you have to know a dwarf who knows them.
Yo.
You know 1 or 2. The White Wastes used to be heavily populated by dwarves. and used to be mostly mountain. They're now mostly flat tundra. Let that say everything it needs to about the war between dwarves and elves 1500 years ago. And then, although not actually all that southern, the southern kingdom's reaches from here near the northern end of the Usen lands all the way down along the mountains to Hensteer in the south. There's a couple cities along this edge, Penantite, for example. Hellswater has not yet quite recovered from the siege that it suffered of that army of underground abominations from Krenmark, but people still live there. And still the Grey Marshes are unconquered and home to many of criminal repute. Although it seems like the Jut does not yet have a direct replacement, although his former men still raid the coast from time to time.
We should go get rid of the rest of them.
I mean, if you really want to hunt down, like, dinky sea vessels in this thing.
With our airship, yes. We will fire at them from above.
Why is
We
it?
don't have to fire at them from above. All we have to do is make Garazin jump out directly above them.
I'm in favor of this, as long as you fish me out of the water.
We'll put a teleport ring on you or something.
Why is
Okay.
Eva
We'll just
Lassel?
make them walk back to the coast.
Why is Eva Lassel sitting there in a growing smear of white paint in the middle of the gullet?
I don't know. Why is that happening?
Do you have a drawing tool enabled or something?
Nope.
I guess that corruption is spreading down there.
Let's not think about what that could have been.
Somebody shot her and her bloody.
Sure. And the gullet is entirely inhabited by uncivilized tribes of orcs and goblins, and whatever other monsters dwell in the thick, steaming jungle of the gullet.
Well, we have a few things we need to get in terms of manpower. We're still going to need a reasonably high-level wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go talk to the one that turned Garazin into a golem.
I was actually considering making a stop by that college.
He's a little insane, but if you want.
Maybe find one that isn't.
Good
Now
luck on that one.
that's a tall order.
Hmm.
Are you meaning the College of Dothrup?
Well, it is nearby. I mean, look, we could check in Freeport for any sailors that can be worth vetting.
Mm-hmm.
We do need some generic folk first. On that note, since Fulton doesn't have anything specifically to be doing yet.
Well, he has some enchanting to get up to, but that shouldn't take him more than a couple hours.
Mm-hmm. I'd like you to accompany me while we look for more of my crew. I trust your judgment.
Very well. How many crew are you looking for from here exactly?
Depends on how many we find.
Going to the taverns first or somewhere else?
While we're likely to find many of these men at the taverns, we might want to go and ask some of the other captains. And maybe stop by some of the barracks and so forth. We need to find reputable fighters as well. Before we leave, Grozin,
Aye.
how many of your kin do what you do?
Not enough, in my opinion, but, a lot. I can't give you a consensus. Hey, I haven't been there in a long time. Last I was there, I was the most skilled, but what does that mean, you know? Skilled in relative to what? Let's put it this way.
Are you confident we could find 10 good dwarves?
Oh, aye, easy. Probably in the first hold. Assuming there wasn't like an ancient, stubborn old hold, but I doubt any of that. I don't even know what those are.
Good, I'm looking for some crew leaders for those cannons.
And I know just the place.
Turns out there's a secret hold called We Blow You Up.
It's just a crater.
Well, yeah, it's hold, but it's spelled HOLE.
Lol.
All in all, I'm expecting to try to recruit around 81 souls. So we have to get to work. I don't feel like we're very likely to find them all here, but we do have ways of traveling now.
Completely correct.
You are recruiting in Freeport?
At least some of it.
I'm not married to whoever we find, but we should check the first place we're at before we leave.
Alrighty. Roll me your diplomacy as gather information.
And I sit down and grind.
Can I assist other on that?
You may.
Just grind iron. Every fucking
Fulton
day.
gets to use his diplomacy skill for once.
Yay!
What the fuck is your diplomacy skill? You like pick up one of those like masquerade things and just put it over your fucking helmet?
Fulton's always been good at diplomacy, just in the sense that he knows how to be calm while speaking at all times if he has to be. He's just not as good at diplomacy as Shinalair is or as Lindal was.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. But let's be real. No one's diplomacy is as shit as I. Not even Varg's was as shit as mine. Varg had a shit diplomacy, let's be real. But I'm sitting here like a -4. That's real shit right there.
To be fair, that's because Varg's diplomacy was his intimidate check.
Which is mostly just grabbing people and yelling at them.
In the remainder of the afternoon, you find the taverns where actual sailors tend to drink, and not just the ones who work on boats, and that's about the best about the best credit you can give them. And you manage to find yourself a fair number there, and pointed towards bulletin boards where captains actually look to find men that they might be able to trust as officers as well. You may acquire yourself some generic crew.
Excellent.
The most generic.
Well, to be specific, you may fill your needs of generic crew, as opposed to the ones who need particular classes and particular fighting capability.
Okay. So that is done then.
If Alathel tries to whip some of the ones you've already got into acceptable form. Eve, what skills do you have that might be useful for drilling?
Be right back.
trying to update both of my tokens. My skills aren't right either of them.
Yep.
So I have profession sailor, and that's it.
That should suffice.
Well, I have acrobatics too, but I don't know how helpful that would be.
What's your modifier on Profession Sailor?
24.
You need to combine both of them and be like doing backflips over them while telling them why can't you do this yet? This is part of being a sailor.
And this is how you swing from one part of the ship to another. Oh god, there's no mast! Splash.
I'll do it anyway. Magic.
All
I
right.
cast Shadow Mast.
I return.
I shall bear that in mind for the general upkeep of the crew's ability to do shit.
Oh god, what do you do?
Just Eve's profession in drilling.
Take out like a horsewhip and get at them? What do you do?
No, we found oil.
Mm-hmm.
You're kidding.
Yes.
Here, I thought you normally struck that.
No, we're striking the crew instead.
What did you do?
Mining oil, yes.
Well, that's how you find crude oil. I mean...
Oh my god. Okay, let me off the ship or I'm done. This is clearly SS Punsville. I'm gone. No, fuck, I don't need it. Wind's fresh. I just jump off the edge. Don't give a shit.
Splash.
And Grozin sinks to the bottom, where he suddenly rusts, even though he shouldn't be able to.
Yeah,
I have very few skills, but I have very few skills. Profession sailor covers a surprisingly lot of things.
Sailors need to be skilled.
As the evening begins to settle in, a man approaches the ship and requests to come aboard, saying that he has a letter for the captain.
It'd be the last in the big hat.
You're busy making the sounds of industry below deck. You're not on the surface.
Using my fists, I'm hoping they have supply. Like a forge and like everything else I need.
The captain is not here right now, so I will accept it and wait for her to return.
It's probably, honest to God, the thing is spacious enough to where it would just have room for that kind of crap, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we have enough that we can repair our own stuff.
Repair is different from make. You need to have a very specific
Yes
kind
and
of
no.
mold.
Sometimes you have to be able to make something to repair something bigger.
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm just, for the case of cannons especially, you need a specific kind of mold for the cannon itself.
Yep. You have one casting mold for cannons.
I gotta be careful with this thing. If this thing overheats, it'll snap, and then we're fucked. Right, okay, just be careful and do my job.
And that's why I don't care. You have a plus 30, it doesn't matter. If you had only a plus 14, then we might be in a bit of trouble, monetarily.
But I'm good at this, so we're good.
As the evening wears on, the other two finally return from their expedition of signing on some new crew, who will report with the dawn.
I hand over the message to Shelinar.
Okay. What is this letter?
Some man came by and told me and said he had a message for the captain.
Interesting.
You're the captain, so here you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Is this going to be some late docking fee?
You dealt with the docking fees when you arrived. In the exact same way that you guys deal with eating, but I don't need you to do it on camera.
Quick, everyone turn on a camera and go get some snacks. Just sit here and eat. She'll take it to... God damn it. She'll take it to her quarters before opening it up.
Inside, the letterhead appears to be from the Ministry of Adventuring. And you notice that the letterhead actually addresses the deep sight detectives by name.
Well, what does it actually say before she goes and gathers everyone?
It says that with your return to civilization, the ministry is still compiling a report of everything that you have told everything you've told Ephraim, and they are working on figuring things out there. But in the meantime, they have something that they would like people with your unique experiences to investigate, if you have the time.
Well, time to start gathering everyone up and talk.
Bang, bang, bang. I don't have ears anymore. I don't give a fuck.
What? I can't hear you over the banging.
What?
Well,
You're
Rosin.
banging too loud. I can't hear you.
What?
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 This is going to carry on for a while, so someone might want to do something physical.
What?
that's a long list of volunteers.
I'm actually looking to see if there's anything I'm using. I do one of my spells to get his attention.
I'm a golem into spells.
No, I can do other things in front of you.
Fair enough.
Yeah, the metal he is currently hammering turns into a leaf or something.
The problem is I don't get the best spell for this, because I don't prestidigitation.
Having just been
That's why you need to press the
rereading
digitation ring like me.
Having just been rereading all the session summaries in order to make the gross scale summary, I suddenly find myself momentarily sad that for a moment I was expecting the ghost sound of a giant man-eating lion to be behind him.
I don't have that either.
I too miss Aaliyah.
Carry on.
Either way, she'll pick up something with Mage Hand that is light enough to pick up and then wave it in front of his face.
Rosin, one of your hammers has taken light and seems fit to rebel.
I knew this day would come. I proceed to try and wrestle into submission. I'm actually really fucking strong now, so I think I win.
Considering this is Mage
limit,
Hand,
yes.
yeah.
Hey, before I might have lost.
You wouldn't have lost to a mage hand.
I don't know, strength 10, it was pretty crap. Considering how everyone else's damn strength is. And I'm not a caster on top of that, so it was weird.
A mage hand could only beat someone in an arm wrestle if they had a strength score of 3.
Wasn't that bad then. Still.
Carry on.
By the way, prestidigitation doesn't allow for SR.
Now I really wish I had it. I want to be able to paint him randomly.
Does that mean
Yeah,
that the shirt you're
Now
wearing
I'm
he can
really
still
missing
put on?
Aaliyah because I would be changing his beard different colors. I used to mess around with Julius by doing that.
Well, I guess that's what the tunic is for. That cast prestidigitation on me for that purpose of not being fucked with.
Uh-huh.
However, I
assume
do
Gorazin-
realize that my hammers aren't supposed to rebel. Look at it just in case it became animated. Because I live in the world of D&D, and hammers coming alive and animate themselves is just something that can sometimes happen. So I'm just going to make sure that's not the case, then look around.
She'll call his name because I presume he stopped making noise.
Yeah, that's a good safe bet. Alright, some at the matter.
Yeah, we need to talk.
Group talk or us
Yeah,
talk?
group talk.
Group, okay. Hang on. Let me just cool this thing off, dump some water on molten metal, and stomp over.
Yep. Meet me in my quarters above. I'll bring the others.
I follow at that point. I got no one else to do.
I assume I assume Fulton and the Alphil won't be difficult.
Fulton certainly won't be.
Aye, Captain.
You reconvene in the cabin at the back, which, granted, the size of the ship is a little bigger than would be normal for a sailing vessel. And I suppose at this point you will want to look at page 2 and convey it.
Correct.
There's a research team that has been working at the hole where the Jail of Ages used to be. And they didn't make contact. They failed to make contact on Friday, and they haven't yet made contact over the weekend thus far. So the Ministry would appreciate someone looking into it, especially since the team in question did have the letter probably says, security contingent that should have been able to, at the very least, get a panicked message off if something happened.
So they had every reason to communicate if something went wrong, but haven't?
Yes.
That is odd. I'm betting 10 gold they fell in the hole.
The only possible answer is a flump has cast silence on all of them.
It wouldn't surprise me. So they want us to inspect this for cash, I'm presuming.
Well, there is a modest reward for looking into it and figuring out why they haven't made contact. Yes.
Well, I suppose that's on the table of things we can do.
Don't we need to be traveling to pick up crew anyway?
It is on the way, sort of.
We are mobile. We could certainly head in that direction while we're still accruing.
And the crew will be in the northern mountains around there, so it's not outside of your way entirely.
Tayo, does the letter have a date of completion?
Who's it signed by?
It is simply signed by the Ministry. Faceless bureaucracy it is. Yes.
Let me guess, it's not even signed, it's stamped. Like, they have, like, a stamp with their, like, signatures and all their bullshit on it, right?
Yes. There is letterhead.
You will speak to us only through our mouthpiece.
I have a half mind to just hire someone simply to speak to them on our behalf so we don't have to deal with them.
I don't have to pay someone to deal with someone I don't want to have to... I mean, they do pay us. Like, a lot. Like, a lot.
There is a return address of the chapter here in Freeport.
I mean, you're basically staying on their money.
I suppose we should send someone with a letter in return that will look into it, so at least they're notified. This would be far easier if they could just give me a person to make a sending to.
You think that we'd be famous enough or important enough to have our own, like, correspondent or something? I mean, you can give it to me and I'll just launch myself at them, but they're probably not going to take kindly to it.
No. Plus, I'd much rather have you here.
Fair enough. I mean, I got work to do on top of that.
Hate to ask you, Fulton, but do you want to handle this? I can send one of my men, but I don't know them quite well enough yet.
He is the most likely to endure it with a straight face.
Very well.
Thank you. We should wait till tomorrow regardless. It is late. Some of us still need to sleep, at least.
I'm gonna have to get used to not doing that. Back to work, I suppose.
Yes, I'm still trying to find ways to fill the time myself.
That was the idea. If I can make any suggestion for what you're gonna do, take up cards.
Against humanity.
No. Learn to count cards. You'll find yourself winning a lot more games.
And here I was going to start writing, perhaps try to put down something useful.
If you've got thoughts that's worthwhile, all I have are my notes on calculations and cursing mostly.
At the very
cursing.
least, the planes we've been through should be recorded.
Actually, I didn't have a bad idea. I should put notes on them, like where certain plants are and the major dangers. That's a fairly smart idea, that. Call your captain's log. Also, bellow it out every morning for no reason. But seriously, having a captain's log of, like, where we've been, the planes, and their major dangers and exports would be a really good idea.
I've always kind of thought that she kept a journal at the very least. I had the paper and journal on her.
No, I've got one too, but and I actually put maybe some posts of just like major locations we visited with like major exports and dangers.
I might do that and make up at least some things that the crew are doing in the meantime.
Well, it'd just be kind of cool to look back and go, oh, the plane of fire, here are the major things of value we found to export, and here's what's scary there.
I'm guessing fire.
Mostly fire, yes. Just as fire underlined 3 times. Well, if that's all the letter said, and I'm not having to deal with it, praise be, I'm gonna go hammer on that thing for a while. Speaking of, if you want me attention, how about, There's not a whole lot of ways to get someone's attention when they're banging and focused like that. So we have a wand of precipitation or something. If we had like a sparkler wand, it'd be easy. Just hold that up and bam, but... I know, torches. That'll work. Just, light the torch and wave it around. That'll get my attention.
I think I'll just use a light spell.
Sure, that, whatever, but it has to be something.
You send a runner back to the chapter of the ministry with your reply that you'll look into it.
I thought I was sending Fulton.
Does Fulton want to make a personal visit to the local chapter of the ministry?
If there's nothing else to occupy his time with.
I mean, I thought the idea is we're making sure it gets there to the right hands kind of thing.
She just doesn't know her crew well enough yet.
Okay. Mind you, there's, there is a small industry of boys at the docks who make a living carrying messages into the city.
But this also allows Fulton to, if he so chooses, ask any other questions and tell them maybe they should find someone we can do this with magic because sending letters is stupid.
Okay.
Yes, send a runner to the airship that is currently in transit. That'll work perfectly.
Yeah, more or less that.
Fulton, are you taking anyone with you?
I believe everyone else is busy.
You can take crew members. I'm sure there's someone that you could just order.
Nah, but he doesn't. Nah. The crew can do what the crew is doing. Fulton's just gonna go.
Oh, she'll make him part of the jobs on the ship sometime soon, one way or the other.
You make your way into town. You find your way to the guild, no problem. It's on one of the named streets, and the major reason for that is so that people could find it. They made a name for that street.
Mm-hmm.
It is it's a stone building, probably used to belong to a large merchant family or something, and is now, covered with the insignia of the ministry, and has the front gates wide open, but the front doors shuttered against the weather.
Of course. I assume there's nobody standing outside or anything.
There are guards sitting outside. It doesn't seem to be a very challenging job for them. If you so much as pause in front of them, one of them just looks up, waves you on in.
Then he will walk in. And go, I suppose, try and open the door.
You pass through the door and into the hall, where there is the decor has changed a bit since last you were in a ministry building back in Ketlir, also long ago. Like, had to be at least 3 months from your perspective.
Yeah, and even longer from not our perspective.
Yep. Instead of seeing a single desk with several proctors who can escort you to various places or run messages throughout the building, instead you see a large lobby with it has sort of movable posts placed on the floor with strips of rope in between them that delineate a small labyrinth that leads to a large number of desks around the perimeter of the room.
Is it occupied at all?
There are 5 or 6 people currently at the far end of this rope labyrinth. The entrance is not too far is not too far from the front door.
Is that the only sort of thing set up?
Well,
from the public entrance, that is.
Yes, it seems like the any other entrances and exits from this room are behind the giant U of desks that frames this chamber.
Then Fulton will go get in line, because he has nothing if not patience.
By the time you make it to the front, one of the people who was in the line has already wandered off to one of the desks where they're having an animated conversation with someone there. The whole place sounds very muted, as though there's a dampening to the sound here.
It's the DMV. It's just the DMV. It's just evil, magical DMV.
How exactly did it refer to us again, by the way? That a name for...
Yes,
Scum?
The Deep Sight Detectives.
Deep Sight? Okay.
Wow, that's old. I forgot we had that name.
God, I almost want to have us change it at this point. Jesus.
I don't know. It's not bad. It's just old.
I know, but we're well past what we were doing then.
Oh yeah, we did
Fair
actually
enough.
decide on that at one point, didn't we?
Well, it's what we were doing, because that is what we were hired to do and what we did. Technically, we were still doing that. I mean, we're still doing that. They just sent us on a new fucking case. Just instead of Sherlock Holmes and, like, Quiet Cloak and Dagger shit, we roll in with a fucking adamantine airship and cannon. So this is it. Holmes solves it his way, we solve it ours.
It's a giant freaking airship. It's like a Skoda hatchback, but not.
Did you just call my airship a hatchback?
I think he did, yeah.
That's really rude.
After some time, you might estimate 20 minutes or so, there seems to be no means of telling time on any of the walls or
Evil fucking DMV, what did I say?
No windows to the sky that you can see.
Is it run by sloths?
No. You reach the front of the line and are eventually gestured over by a very downtrodden-looking fellow sitting behind one of the desks.
Is he a turtle? How about a snail? I'm waiting for the other poop to drop here.
Downtrodden human fellow with no vestigial limbs whatsoever.
Fulton will clang over in full armor.
Although it doesn't look like he's put that quill pen down in, hell, maybe months. It's made a small ridge in the side of his fingers, and every finger on his right hand is slightly stained with ink. He gestures you to sit at the chair across from him and waits patiently.
Fulton will sit in the chair if he can fit in the chair.
It seems to hold.
And Fulton will hand over their response, personally delivering a response to the Ministry from the Deep Site Detectives.
He reads it over, flips it over, scribbles some, to your eyes, nonsense across the back, stamps the back of it, folds it and places it in an envelope and places it in one of the drawers of his desk. Is there anything else I can help you with today, sir?
Would there be a more expedient form of communication in the future?
If the Ministry finds that it is that the additional effort is mandatory, they will invigor said effort.
Very well. We will be traveling by air for the foreseeable future, so that will likely become necessary.
I think I understand your meaning. You need to make sure you can be contacted without having to set down in the city. Where did I put that? Here we go. He hands you a small vial and what appears to be a sewing needle. If you wouldn't mind.
Fulton will take the items and take a moment to think if he has any idea what this possibly means.
Most people, the pinky on their left hand, it doesn't get in the way.
I'm afraid I'm unfamiliar with what you've just given to me.
We just need a few drops.
Well, actually, of the entire party, you're actually pretty good at this one.
We just need a taste.
Yeah, actually, that's a very good point. Fulton doesn't actually need the needle for this.
No, seriously, just put his palms on and be like, there you go.
Can you put your palm on like someone's face and just bleed on it?
Fulton will do that and just activate his stigmata and bleed into the vial.
Oh, you do this often, do you?
Yes.
No, just a quarter full is enough.
Fulton will do so and hand the vial back.
Guess actually I have several questions now.
Yes?
Caps it with a cork, wraps that in a bit of a leather string in order to make sure it's tightly on there, and places that in the same desk drawer as you just did your letter.
To be completely fair, I don't think any of our characters ever noticed or cared to ask, because, I mean, his hands start bleeding, but like we're going to notice that in a maelstrom of combat.
To be fair, it means after combat, almost every single time, his gauntlets are bloodstained, even if they never actually had anything happen to them.
I mean, I noticed, but he hits shit with a sword. I presume he just hits himself way too hard when he does it, like an idiot. I just never say anything because it's embarrassing.
I'm wondering if you meet a ponce you really don't want to deal with, you shake his hand and you just bleed all over him.
What's up?
Just pat someone on the back. Hey!
That's blood everywhere.
You're like that fucking lizard that spits blood from its eyes.
Yeah, you see, all of these things that you're suggesting to Fulton, these sound distinctly chaotic good.
Uh-huh.
You'd be way more fun chaotic good, guy.
He's a cleric who might as well be a paladin.
Boring.
Yeah, I usually document Fulton as paladin in all but paperwork.
Yeah.
Yep.
Carry on.
We'll wait to see if that's everything for the ministry clerk.
Was there something else you needed, sir?
No, that would be it. Thank you very much.
Good.
And Fulton will get up, hopefully not destroying the chair in the process. Crash!
I hope not. That's a mimic.
God damn.
Everything he sits in is a mimic.
No. And out
My
the door.
airship is a mimic.
It's the world's
Well, it would
biggest
gain a bite
mimic.
attack.
You successfully navigate your way out of the building. Despite it being June, the evening air does have a distinct chill to it. You might think, if you didn't know it was June, you might think that it might frost tonight. And apparently no one anywhere has any reaction to that.
I don't feel cold.
I was trying to remember what we've been told after this break
well,
about
we
the
do know
weather
the seasons
here.
have been kind of fucked ever since some of the deities apparently went fucked and their
I
worshippers
thought
went
they weren't
fucked.
changing.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. It's been stuck in like autumn or something, right?
Is what Ephraim loosely and very exhaustedly hinted at, yes.
And I assume by saying this, you mean that not all nights have been like this while we've been around.
Yes.
So it's colder than it was last night.
Oh, sorry. No, I thought Kaylee was implying the opposite. That this has been normal, but it really doesn't seem like it should be.
It's transitional weather. It's the weather you get when it's supposed to be going from
I'm
one
just
season
making
to the
sure
next.
that it's not an unusual thing, because so far this is our first information about what night feels like. So,
I'll
Past
be right
couple-
back. I need a Q-tip.
Past couple weeks, it has been cold at night, but tonight it feels like it might even frost. It's definitely unsummerly weather.
Maybe our return fixed everything. Wouldn't that be nice?
You find yourself in a clearing in the woods on a winter evening.
I knew that delay was because of that. I knew it.
There is a pony not far away who doesn't know why you've stopped. In other narrative similes, you are standing west of a white house. Continuing.
Well, I presume that once Fulton does return, we'll pull up the gangplank for a night.
Might as well.
Isn't
Yeah,
it
I'm
the
not
morning
letting someone.
now? Oh, no.
No, you're returning at night, I thought, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you lower the gangplank for a night, he comes aboard, and you raise it again. Dawn breaks across the Circle Sea, and indeed there is a thin layer of frost across everything touched by the sea wind.
I cast Mend on Dawn. Okay.
Boo.
Shut up!
Yes, Captain.
Don't worry, I find this audience pretty difficult too. So, what is next on the agenda?
Could we sit for just a minute here? I want to check something.
Sure.
I was sitting already.
Well, now you have to stand.
Okay.
What checketh thou?
I was laying down while drinking a cup full of chicken gravy.
Now you must
Breakfast.
bathe in it.
The breakfast of champions.
It's not really breakfast at this point.
Depends.
All times are breakfast for me.
Are you breaking a fast?
Eh.
The fast from the last time you ate?
When
I
did
will
I
throw
eat
you off
last?
the ship in a mutiny attempt to just stop the puns.
I'm the
Hey!
Pungeon Master.
Hi.
Hark, what unfamiliar name has not yet calibrated their microphone?
I hear typing. And myself.
Is there voice?
There is.
Yes. Hi.
No.
Although you appear... you're gonna have to mute yourself quick. We're getting a
Or
feedback
stop
loop.
pressing the button. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll need to set that up for push to talk if you have your speakers
You
on.
never told me your friend was a fish.
What?
Well, it sounded like they were underwater.
So,
She never told me she was a mime.
Paige, I'm assuming, there is a text chat there that you can use to respond to us while I quickly walk you into the configuration tab.
Oh, God, why? Kaylee, why?
I have to introduce her here correctly.
Thank you.
If you go into configuration, you'll either want to, on the audio input tab, you'll want to turn on advanced settings and either set up a signal to noise transmit rule, or else set a push to talk button on the shortcuts tab.
I use my mouse mid click for push to talk. That way it's right there.
And that way he's also kind of flipping us off each time.
Now I use my index finger.
It's the thought that matters.
I use a mouse button and therefore use my thumb.
Your thumb? Gee, you're dumb.
No.
I don't have a gaming mouse anymore.
So let's...
Is that feedback again?
That's much better.
Still coming through a little bit.
You're still transmitting. Okay.
Yeah, so basically,
So-
if you're on push to talk, just only press when you talk, and we'll get echo.
I'm still trying to set that.
Okay.
Ah, okay. So yes, that's what I was checking.
Gotcha.
What does Czechoslovakia have to do with any of this?
Czechoslovakia?
I believe you're talking about Czech Republic.
Yes.
No.
I believe you're talking about Austro-Hungary.
Oh.
I remember there was this one Nostalgia Critic video where he mentioned Czechoslovakia and people jumped down his throats, even though during the time the movie was made, the country of Czechoslovakia still existed.
I'm also confused how he has two throats.
Oh, he has like 5,000 throats.
Oh, he's
That's
an
why
elder
he's-
thing.
Yeah, that's why his early videos sound different, because he keeps switching them out.
Gotcha.
He also goes through a lot with all that screaming. Right, just let me know if you need any assistance with getting the buttons and the voice hold configured.
She should be required to play one of Kaylee's cohorts.
No.
She can be a level 12 expert.
Great, that sounds super fun.
I always sort of wanted to play an expert to see if I could make it viable.
I have played a game with only NPC classes before.
Mm-hmm. That's for your casters.
Well, the goal was to have everyone at like level 1 and then transition.
Yep.
Well, everybody should be starting out as commoners then. If you can survive this fight, if you can survive a fight with a house cat, you get a class.
Money's on the house cat.
Well, let's see here. D4 hit points and D3 plus dex mod damage. It's still probably a little better than the wizards who got to start play with D4 hit points. Hope you don't roll badly.
In my first game I ran, though, I still had 2 people. Was it 2 that kicked the bucket in our first big combat?
I had a friend who wanted to play a wizard. I explained the rules of it to him, and he's like, okay. I'm going to put my 9 into my con. I'm going to have a little bit of a low con. I'm like, okay, roll your d4. He gets a 1. His health is 0. I said, make a new goddamn character. Remove that stat around, because you're dead on birth otherwise.
No. You died of anemia in your teens. Ronald, would you like to roll another character, or should we just end your adventures there?
He was very confused as to how he died before he got to play, but it took some explaining.
The game is called Dark and Dragons.
And that's why everybody starts out with the first hit point in Pathfinder.
Yeah.
To prevent that kind of silliness. It got extra silly when someone had a perfectly normal 10 but wanted to really play an elf really badly. I had to disappoint that person too.
Although I would sort of like to do just roll your stats and make the best of it you can at some point.
That's only really fun when you
I say
really sit down with your background. Like you really sit down.
You start for that sort of thing. I honestly would think you should actually start as at least one thing that's a pre-game session or 2 to figure out what your class is.
Okay.
Yeah, and even then, you might start as like an NPC class or something.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
One second, guys.
Hold on. Hey.
Yeah, let Paige go.
I think
Hello.
I got the tap talk work thing working.
All right.
So is there
Sounded-
still feedback?
No, actually.
Yep. It's cutting off at the end of your sentences. Although it did sound for a moment like it was those two talking was triggering it, but it's not triggering now while I'm talking, so it's probably good.
Is it doing it now?
I'm going to speak.
It will if we talk when we're pushed.
Okay, so
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, basically, unless you have headphones, we're gonna hear ourselves.
That's not exactly unusual here, though.
It's not, no.
It means that you and Brad get to cohort as people using loudspeakers.
I use a Rock Band mic.
So, hello, Paige. I'm guessing you were having troubles getting into Mumble earlier or something?
Yeah, that was the computer wasn't being polite.
Gotcha.
Also, I was figuring out the entire interface in Spanish because it downloaded that way. So
Ah.
That's an interesting problem to come up.
my machine's set in Spanish, so not actually that interesting. But there's still a lot of things that I didn't know what it meant, so I had to look it up.
Yep.
Well, you're here now.
What does this word "ola" mean?
So I guess, carry on. I have Hillary here as well.
Hi.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess carry on what you were doing, or I guess she can introduce herself or something. I don't know.
For my characters that I'm possibly playing with.
Can you hear her?
Kind of.
Only some words. I think you're a bit far away.
Yeah.
Just shove your head
Right
into the
now,
microphone.
I'm just looking through my old Pathfinder character files to see who I might want to adapt for this.
Okay.
We have already guessed Fluff Gunslinger.
Oh god.
She says she does not have a gunslinger.
And hopefully not a flump of any description.
Why not? Flumps are great.
She says, unfortunately, no, she does not have a flump gunslinger.
Yeah,
We can fix this. We have the
pay no
power.
attention. Pay no attention to the peanut gallery.
I'll throw peanuts at you.
I don't know. I think currently the biggest trouble is just trying to figure out what the group might need, as well as kind of, I guess, what level of specialization or optimization is needed. Because I've never played this high level before. I know that she has, but I haven't. So
Survivability is key.
Yeah, you do kind of need to be able to take a disintegrate to the face. However,
We have like shitloads of damage. We do not need more damage.
I'm playing a new class I've never played before that's incredibly frustrating, and I've survived. Yeah, without optimizing it. So
On the plus side, your main stat is still con.
yeah.
That helps with the surviving bit quite a lot.
Well, it hasn't come up yet, but because of the way my class works, it also means that I'm very likely to fall over unconscious in the middle of.
Oh, great.
yeah.
I'm likely to survive because I'll fall over unconscious like 3 minutes before I die, even if he's blowing me with shit.
And stop being a threat long before you actually run out of hit points. Yeah, con-based casters are like that. The takeaway from that should be: don't stress too hard about optimizing for a fit. Just make someone who makes sense, and try not to hit the exact same bullet points that the rest of the party has.
But naturally have fun and so on.
Wolf in sheep's clothing, so life.
For example, if you make a dwarf who has suddenly become a golem, there might be an issue.
Lol.
I'm making a
Huh?
Kobold
I'm
barbarian.
making a vaguely bird-themed witch.
Okay.
Sounds
Tango.
good to me.
True, cool. Chicken.
No.
I love
God
that.
damn it.
I'm still kind of just flailing at what exactly to do. I have, I guess, a lot of ideas, or maybe too many ideas, or
I could use one.
My only suggestion is find like a picture or a theme or some kind of overarching thing you do every round and run with that. Like run with that hard.
Yeah. Sorry, I think I heard Hillary start to say something in the background, then she cut off.
I presume they started fighting.
I think
You're
She was
definitely
wondering if you could use one of mine, and then I actually might not really coherent enough to do much with. So
okay.
I mean, if you want to like talk anytime about just figuring out stuff, a lot of us are available, like all the time. Just to throw ideas at, I mean, at worst.
well, I guess because you said filling or slots or whatever that the party already has covered. You said you have more than enough like damage type people. So like I guess what else is needed? I suppose.
Well, I will personally go ahead and just say that I don't know if you ever have completely full enough, because killing things faster is a really good way of crowd control.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be hard to kill things efficiently. There's a lot of resistances and defenses
But
that you
okay,
can't
as
always...
we've got right now, we've got Fulton, who is essentially he's our hybrid melee caster. He's tanky as all out. He's not really like a melee shredder, but he does pretty good damage anyway.
He's a utility knife, in my opinion. He can do pretty much anything he needs to do. He can do a lot of spell damage at points in the scenario. He can do a lot of close combat damage for what he is. He can take a lot of hits, and just not a lot. There's not a whole lot he can't do. He just doesn't like.
Basically, he's a cleric.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a cleric.
I have Windwalk when you need it, and I have Destruction when you need it.
Yeah, and he's good in melee combat and no pushover when it comes to taking hits. So
we've got Grozin, who's our ranged DPS, flat out. That's what he
points
does.
his hands at things and they go boom.
If you want, he's got a lot more going to him than that, but if you want just pure mechanics, he just kills things in combat.
point gun, hold down button until problem is over.
Plus,
I have
I
a
got like
focus.
what six attacks, all doing around like 50 damage per shot.
Yeah, and swarms are funny, basically.
Yeah, for swarms don't mean a damn thing to make it a cone.
I have a harder time describing Brad's character because I don't know Kineticus as that well, but mostly damage.
Surfing USA.
Yeah.
She's a hybrid ranged melee DPS.
And my summoner is pretty much pure utility with the ability of just swarming things if I have to. My summons I can summon a melee DPSer. That's pretty good. Not as good as any PC, but it is what it is. I have teleportation spells, and I have basically 0 damage spells.
Though notably, we only have utility from the divine part of casting.
Yeah, through some odd events, my summoner is a divine caster right now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, after round of doing the same thing as this character, I'm missing.
You're missing sudden sneeze and
missing
burst
my
of static.
Yeah.
Bard.
Yeah.
Yeah, bards certainly have a lot of utility in the arcane.
Most of our fights really just come down to positioning. It's like we know it's like if Gorzan's allowed a whole turn or multiple turns just sitting there shooting a thing, it's gonna die. But he's so
usually
slow
try to
and
wrap
cumbersome,
in
it takes him a while to get
darkness.
there. So everyone else is just kind of positioning and CCing and doing their shit until he can.
Yeah, and she
Get to
used
that
to have
position.
good crowd control, but we've kind of passed the point where summoner spells can do that anymore.
Which is sad, but there you go.
Yeah, Black Tentacles only get you so far at level 20.
Yeah, the caster level 6, the spell level 6 does start to become a problem.
Gun never stops hurting. Spells stop working. Weird how that is.
But yeah, just pick a target and hit it as hard as... Pick a character building target and hit it as hard as you would like, and I assure you, it will fly in some way or another.
With the caveat that, remember, at this level, if you have to pick between something that boosts your damage or boosts your ability to survive a hit, take the survivability. Trust, it's not unusual for us to just casually get hit with shit that does over 100 damage because we got too close to the bad thing.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. Alchemist with 5 arms.
You're going to take more hits than you deliver. So
No. There's a
survive.
race you can be now that starts with 4 arms, so you can be an alchemist and grow even more arms.
And you only get additional bonus attacks for those if they're natural attacks, so before you get ahead of yourself.
Million arms.
Well, that's why you take multi-attack.
I was looking at something alchemist-ish, maybe. I've built some kind of oracle thing. I also, I have basically a weird combo sorcerer that's basically spell breaking and can throw down I guess a lot of counterspelling and anti-magic fields and stuff too.
Well, Gorzan would fucking love you, but he's a golem, so.
I mean, to be blunt, that's something we don't really have
Mhm.
at this point.
Well,
Shino
we can totally
can't
use it.
cast a lot of that stuff anyway. I mean, okay, I have access to Miracle, so I can technically cast it.
One problem,
But-
though. Any kind of anti-magic field or stuff like that's going to fuck with your summons.
Exactly. I don't really want to cast it.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. Is I didn't know how well that would work if I was just throwing those things around.
We can position properly.
Yeah, it's not any different than keeping the summons out of a really powerful fireball.
Keeping them away from cloud kill, things like that. Like,
Yeah,
I can still do it.
it's just more positioning, and we've got some level of skill doing that after fucking all these.
I also
Fucking
I
lemons.
found using the sphere stuff that I'm looking at, there actually is what I did with this particular one just to see if I could do it. And it was a lot of like feat sinks and things, but basically it is a thing that allows you to place an effect that lets certain effects of yours survive in an anti-magic field if you turn it on in time.
Well, someone monstered me the one.
Well, I think you can only put it on yourself or another character. I don't know if you can put it on a summoned creature or not.
That's something you need
It's
to look
a
into.
little odd, especially with my cohort summon, because she's kind of straddling the line with that.
She is a summon.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can apply that. I mean, usually things that can apply to players can apply to a summon, since they're just characters that go away.
Yeah. Yeah, this one comes back whenever you call for her, and she has a consistent timeline from her perspective. It's just that when she takes too much damage, she goes away for a little while.
Yeah, and I can only have her out for about 18 minutes at a time. Actually, no, sorry, 20 now. I keep going back to my old levels. Not that it
I'm
really...
just going to
between 18
point
and
out
20,
here.
there's no difference at this point.
I'm going to point out here that the summons are technically NPCs, and NPCs are characters.
Yep.
I seem to be missing the significance of that.
Well, basically the significance of it is if I could put this basically anti-magic Aegis on a summon that would allow it to then operate possibly in a field.
Right. I would say Fulton would also like be able to work in anti-magic. He has a lot of magic items.
He's fine.
How many magic items does he have at this point?
It's okay, he's the Pope. It's all fine.
Look up at his helmet, then look down at his boots, and try and tell me what part isn't magic.
Okay, yeah, let's get this out of the way really quick. They like to say...
I think we've agreed the orc part from one of your previous conversations.
Oh, God. They like to say that Fulton is the Pope because they think he has a Pope hat.
No. You bought the Pope hat.
No, you did. Like, you full-on bought the Pope helmet. Come on.
Okay, fine, but he's not the Pope.
He is now. You have the hat.
He is the Lord Warrior Pope.
There's a head item called the Meter of the Hierophant, or Mitre, or however you pronounce it.
Mitre.
Mitre?
Mitre.
Okay.
It's that.
Yeah. So yeah, have that now. It's integrated with his helmet, so it's...
That's what he looks like.
He's not
He's
the
probably
Pope.
taller, a little shinier, but there you go.
He's not the Pope, he's a Pope.
Yeah, see?
He is the Pope of that hat.
Uh-huh.
He's also the Pope of his whole
Anyways.
fucking church if you put any effort into it, considering how high his goddamn level is.
Yeah, you're pretty much the strongest cleric probably of that church.
I mean, at some point, even if you don't want to, your goddess is just going to just tell you to do it. I mean, you're lawful, you're good, you're the iconic being of your fucking deity. I mean, you're going to be the Pope one way or another. It's that or
Level-
you die and get to be the Jesus allegory. Your choice.
Hit dice do not confer necessarily holiness. He could kick
No.
the ass of the Pope.
Swords beget
But-
holiness.
Yeah.
Also, visiting the upper planes and possibly seeing a deity in person might also be at a little bit of holiness there. A wee bit.
Anyways,
Also, if you can't tell, we ramble a lot.
yeah.
Well, I guess if I did kind of go that route, maybe that would be something to the effect of, because there's ways, I guess, to just like counterspell things off of other guys. So if we're fighting people that have a lot of magic effects stacked on them, and being able to strip that off would be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Just be aware
Yeah.
a character like that is not going to do a whole lot against a big scary monster.
A specialized abjurationist is a valuable thing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
wear
And I'm sure there's plenty of
your,
things you can still do against a non-magic enemy.
yeah, but
Uh,
just
gen-
plan for it.
Yeah, generally the way Pathfinder works, it's usually better to buff your own people than to try to debuff other people. Your people don't get saves, and they do. But
Well, see,
if you want to
these are
get
the kinds of things that I have to know. I've never really actually played, like I said, anywhere near this high level, so...
well, yeah, if you want to make that work, you can. It's easier to make a buffer work than a
Let's-
debuffer, though.
We need an example. What is one of the last things we fought with a high SR?
Haven't we fought with a high SR at this point?
Well, I know. I want a
Let's-
number, though, to
Yeah,
give her an example.
You recently had to fight off a Yamaraj Psychopomp.
Right, that
Wasn't he
thing.
like 25 or so?
No, only 21.
Okay, yeah, well, 21 still within the ball range.
Yeah, that guy wasn't so bad. Then we fought dragons with like over 30.
Oh, pardon me, a Psychopomp Yamaraj is only 20. Relevant link.
It's
There
a lot
was
lower than I remember.
something we fought with a lot of SR.
Well, there was that reincarnated dragon that had a lot of SR.
Dragons tend to have a shitload of SR when they get big. So the point is that at this point, for us, enemies have layers. It's not just the one. You got to get past the multiple stuff. So it's not just the AC, it's also the DR. It's not just the saves, like the saving throws, it's also the spell resistance. Like, they're going to just have these things, and frequently. So if you're gunning for something, you need a way to get through every layer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
you-
I guess then what kind of things are you guys having the most trouble with, and then we can try to cover that, I guess.
Getting our butts where we need to be honest. Where as much as we need to position ourselves, we're actually kind of not very mobile. One of us is
Speak
super
for yourself, buddy.
Yeah. You're super fucking mobile. The rest of us aren't.
Yeah, you need to mention a specific scale here, because A, you now have an airship. B, Shinolar has teleports as much as she needs.
Let's put it this way: in combat, without if Chandelier wants to teleport, she can, but it takes up her turn. She's not doing anything else, so she can't.
Quicken Rod.
Okay, sometimes you can poof and fart a thing out, but it's a resource and you have to spend it. That's my point. You didn't dump feats into it, you know.
Powerful stuff always is. What are you asking for, Chris?
No, you should.
Rocket Pack.
She should worry about what she wants to play.
Yeah.
That's
and
the
then we
thing.
can
Don't
about
worry
it.
so much about what we need. We've built characters that are kind of just there, and we've
Yeah.
made it work.
Yeah, none of us built characters together. We didn't build to have any specific synergy.
So, I
If-
mean, I know
if
that
you're-
doesn't help you figure it out, but like, it's best when you really like your character design and just roll with it. And then, because we've had times where we screw ourselves because we're sticking to character. And that happens, and that will happen, and you're going to get screwed probably by one of us because we do something like that. And it's just going to happen.
And I'm
Like,
just saying
remember the
this up front.
time?
If you choose a melee character, more power to you. You're gonna get shot in the back of the head.
Like, remember the time Aaliyah
Damn
almost died from Jublex grappling her because she was saving everybody else?
Oh,
Yep,
God.
because she could opt out of her own teleport.
Yeah.
Hey, I survived out of here.
Or that time you didn't survive and got tortured and brutally murdered to death, so I had to reincarnate you into an elf.
No, this is when we were fighting Jublex.
So that one was.
I
later,
got
but
everybody
that was-
else out, couldn't get me, so...
Yeah.
I mean, we've had an evil character turn against the party and then had to make a new character afterward.
That was me.
Our point is, don't worry about synergy. Worry about someone who could have survived to be at the point where they are now.
Make a character and make one that's fun to play.
And the only thing that Ty brought up about not hitting roles that are already filled is just, if you're trying to make, say, a cleric of Iomade, you're going to have a competition for your design because we have one, exactly. You could still make it work because they could work together and they could have different viewpoints and they could have discussions, but you
Make it
might have
distinct.
it might have, if they're not distinct from one of us as their own standalone character, they might feel like we're taking over because we're already kind of established and kind of just push forward.
Like, example, you can totally make a gunslinger if you want. You probably don't want to build like a cannon-focused gunslinger.
Ease back on the examples. This
I will
all
talk
is
forever if you're
overwhelming.
going to talk forever.
She just now got into the channel, and I've been trying to slow you down.
Never.
Yes, this is Skull Hat, by the way.
Yes.
It was mentioned.
Yeah, but
Well, I guess that is basically the trouble, is trying to come up with, I guess, something. I don't really have a lot of chances to make like characters, so it's just kind of trying to come up with something that would be interesting to play, and so.
Yeah, you should worry about that before worrying about synergy, because my character right now has absolutely no synergy with everybody else, and in fact, my main ability I built this character around can really fuck the other party members over, and has at least once.
We're still here.
I technically killed Fulton by shooting him in the back of the head.
And then there was the time Skull Hat repeatedly shot me in the back.
I might be the only person that he hasn't done that to.
On at least one occasion, it was because of a compulsion.
Yeah, well, now he's a golem.
Now I'm a golem.
And as somebody who played a character who completely betrayed the party, I cannot stand betrayal.
He's a hypocrite.
So do you have any specific question? The first one. Do you have any specific questions at this juncture, Paige? Or Hillary?
She doesn't seem to. I'm just still trying to figure out what even to do.
Trial and error. If you're having trouble really coalescing a single idea, take an hour, develop 3, one after the other. See if any of them see if anything you're doing starts to repeat itself, and then deliberately repeat it. You can usually building up a character to high level like that is. I can do it through the shotgun method.
Also, don't pick Bard, because if anything happens to my current character, I'm bringing mine back.
Oh, shush. They can pick Bard if they want.
You can get the band back together.
Oh, God.
Honestly, out of any class I can think of, the Bard's the one that's like the easiest to do different, you know?
Yeah, Bards have tons of options.
I always like, when I'm trying to think of a new character, to just go through the the PFSRD and just read all the different archetypes or classes, because there's almost always something you haven't seen before.
Yeah, I believe since the time Tio had to give Aaliyah something to give her wizard spells, there's actually been an archetype release that gets them. So.
Oh, right, you got access to a few sorcerer spell slots.
Yeah, I think it was for every 3 bard spells I got a wizard spell at the same level.
Yep.
Oh, this is nonsense. Bard archetype, juggler. It is so nonsense.
There you go, Paige. 20th level juggler.
Oh, God.
Bard archetypes are awesome.
Do you realize the juggler's main thing is that the fact they're using, like, multiple weapons at the same time, finger quotes? So they don't get any extra attacks, just they have a multitude of weapons they can use, up to, like, 7 objects. So, like, juggling, like, a great sword, 2 short swords, a bow, and, like, all that nonsense just in the air, just juggling. Anytime they need to use one, they just start using it while still juggling.
What class would soccer player be an archetype of?
Rogue.
I'd say
Sneak
rogue
attacks.
or monk.
Because you go for, like, soft spots. Headbutts and all that.
Yeah, I'd say rogue or monk.
Linear acceleration?
Fling an object that you're currently lifting. Range touch against the target, you deal double normal bludgeon.
It's a psychic railgun, basically.
Yep.
Can we just attach her to my airship and just fire stuff from it?
Please do not continue to give Garazin ideas. He has too many, and
Can
they're
we
all
fire
terrible.
Garazin from it?
Yes.
That
If Garazin was put in some kind of harness that would let him be liftable.
How much can this thing lift again?
Depends on caster level.
Alright, I weigh like 2,000 pounds. Hold on.
Yeah, I believe I have...
At
Go ahead.
20th level, you could lift something gargantuan with it.
Cool, we can do this then. I'm only large.
You contain multitudes. I don't know where else to go with that.
You're like an onion.
Tio is just super frightened because now he thinks we're gonna do this because.
Yeah, we've already done stuff that is dumber than this.
Like launching at like Mach 20 and just this happening.
We almost killed ourselves with several kegs of gunpowder.
Oh, that was amazing.
Jesus.
If you deploy your golem like this, be aware he's going to take equal falling damage.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm immune to that shit. Go home.
You are not immune to falling damage.
Aw.
And a featherfall would kind of interfere with the high speed impact that you're going for.
Can I get Boots enchanted to be immune to falling damage? Call him the Boots of Meteor.
I have the idea. So we use this and a friendship bracelet, and then I recall him back after he's made the collision.
Or you put DR on it that absorbs damage and then is dispersed afterward.
There you go.
I like all of these ideas.
We're really just trying to find the best ways to launch Grozan out of a cannon, aren't we?
Uh-huh.
Really are, yeah.
Strictly for the pleasure of doing so.
Wouldn't that basically be trying to figure out how to launch a cannon out of a cannon?
Yes.
We
I
have
am a
done
cannon golem.
Cannonception.
I'm a cannon golem, wielding a cannon being fired from a cannon.
Actually,
so having a gun that fires more guns.
Uh-huh. I want to know how to hook Grozan into my airship so that he can transform my airship into a giant a giant cannon golem. That's how that works, right?
That's totally how that works.
We are not playing D&D Voltron Edition.
No, we're just playing D&D Gurren Lagann Edition.
You know, I do have the Kaiju book, and that does actually have stats and a system for a Voltron-esque Pathfinder setting sort of giant mech thing.
Perfect.
Oh,
It's
actually,
got rules for multiple pilots and everything.
really quick, Paige,
Yes.
are you using the D20 PFSRD?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure of that. Because otherwise it can be kind of difficult to look at all the Pathfinder stuff.
Yes, I am using that. But there's many things.
Go play another one of the new occult classes that we have no idea how it works.
What's the last one for I don't really know how this works? Is it medium next? Or spiritualist?
Might be medium. Yeah, because the spiritualist only has one spirit with them, while the medium, summons a bunch of them to inhabit their body.
Uh-huh, and then you get to play a different character basically each time.
So, context switching, the RPG.
I just looked at the magician archetype and it sucks.
Mhm.
Do they not have a skill that lets them pull a rabbit out of the hat or something?
No, what that from a base bard standpoint, what that does is at level 2 and every 4 levels after, you can add one spell to your list of spells known from any arcane spellcasting class list. In exchange for this, you give up all of the best bardic performances.
Ugh.
Oh, and did I also mention you also give up bardic knowledge?
And you're still limited to spell level 6. Yeah.
How about we just get a vigilante, right? Right?
Just play a juggler.
I think Hillary has just acquired ideas.
Good.
Should we be scared? Because we've been talking
All
about
right.
a lot of bullshit so far.
I'm going to be an alchemy witch. I'm going to totally play up the brewing potions and the cauldron stuff and I am going to supply the psychic railgun with explosive ammunition.
I love this. This is a great idea. It's like a magnificent theme.
I can't be happier at this. Yes.
Be a female orc on top of that, so you have the green skin thing going on. Just go full
Oh
on.
God.
Ride a flying broomstick. Just go 100%.
You want to make fun, but the juggler archetype's actually pretty decent.
I know. No, I wasn't kidding when I said play a juggler. It's not bad.
I mean, they gain evasion and improved evasion.
And deflect arrows and the juggling technique, what they can do all of that at once.
So, anyways, on a more relevant point for future time, including including next session, Paige, Hillary, do you have a second computer that has a microphone or can have?
This can be acquired.
Okay. I'd really encourage you sit at least at different computers, not to have separate views of the map, because, well, we all have party vision anyways, but chiefly so that I can better tell which of you is talking, because I've been trying to sort out your voices since you connected, and I'm not 100% sure that I have it.
The only reason we didn't do that now is just that we didn't have a microphone for the second computer. We would be doing that otherwise.
Much appreciated. And have you installed Java and MapTool and at least tried to start those up yet?
I think I actually have MapTool on this machine already. I need to get on that.
Okay. Yeah, feel free to hit me up after session today or anytime over the next week, and we can get you connected and make sure that you've got enough memory allocated and all that. I tend to use fairly asset-heavy maps.
That does
Lots
bring
of
up
stuff.
one question on my end. What do we want to do for them about next week?
Next week being...
Being our Dragon Age game.
Yes. Chris.
Make characters. What do you want
Wow,
from me?
that was helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm serious, though. You have everything. You have a mage, you have a rogue, you have a warrior.
No, it's literally we just have them do the same character creation we've already done, and I mean that was already kind of randomized, and there's not that much choice, honestly.
Exactly. So what the fuck do you want from me?
More or less, you're the GM. You're in charge.
I'm not disallowing anything. You're allowed to pick what character and class combination is allowed legally within the rules. I have not vetoed any particular backstories.
You are also, just for the record, not required by law to also join the Dragon Age campaign.
Yes, that's only if you're interested.
Yeah, only if you want to. That's only on the weeks we're not doing the, this.
On that note, I do need to get you that PDF in case you are interested. It's hard to know whether you would be or not without seeing the rulebook anyway.
It's a weird one.
Are there any words on whether or not you are interested?
We're not sure. We've got a bunch of other things going on, so...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Consider it. Just get back to Chris with it. He should be one of the CC'd members on that email I sent out a little while back, so...
Right.
And then I won't be offended if you don't want to.
You're still welcome to... You're still welcome to sit in and listen, but you don't have to join in if you don't want to, or if you don't have the time to. Oh, go ahead.
I didn't mean to completely derail whatever you were doing beforehand.
Today was going to be a pretty light session anyways, as we deal with some of the fresh frayed cables that have been introduced last session. If you stepped in the middle of combat, I may have asked you to come back in an hour, but no such thing.
Right.
Yeah, we're literally on a recruitment drive right now.
Hmm?
So I guess we can just listen for a bit. I'm trying to figure out where to start trying to bolt things together for this ridiculous idea.
The
So
cohorts.
Okay. Let's see here.
Where were we?
We were. It is Dawn. You guys had just made the joke about casting Mend on Dawn to get rid of that frost on it.
Yeah, someone really lame made that. I didn't do that. No, it was someone else.
Yeah, no idea. And I was about to ask you where you're setting sail to, or are you sticking around in Freeport for further activities, or recruiting? Bear in mind, Freeport is a pretty mundane town. Big, but mundane.
Yeah, about the only thing she'd specifically be looking for here at this point, honestly, would be whether or not a cleric Milani's just sitting around, because she's still looking to recruit. To recruit another level 5 cleric.
Okay.
And those are rare, but she'll be looking wherever she goes.
Okay. Let's see here. This is not difficult to find, so just toss me the D4 for gather information for how long it takes.
If asked, Falta will also go out and recruit any level 1 clerics of Iomade if he's ever told that they need more channeling clerics.
Consider him told?
Well,
You want me to actually roll gather
you've
information?
been told. With your diplomacy, yes, please.
Yes, it's not nearly as divine as Chenalaire's.
It does have oomph behind it, yes.
Not the best
Hope
roll,
that
that one.
helps.
Alrighty. Oh, and there we go. Ooh. Chenalaire. It is, the time is well approaching second breakfast. When you finally arrive in front of what you've been directed to, the main site of worship of Milani here in Freeport. Milani's not a very popular god in Freeport, chiefly because, well, what little military presence and freedom fighters are here are usually abroad. So there is here a small, definitely not a temple. This is not temple. This is church. It is tended by 2 priests, one of whom looks like their voice might have finished breaking, and his balls may have dropped.
Lovely. Thank you for the image.
You're welcome. What I'm saying is he is probably the son of the other priest, and he does not look particularly aged either. And you're guessing from the sight of this place that they, as you come in, and they're just busy doing cleaning, maintenance, and such like of the church. It looks like they don't expect a congregation better than 30 most mornings.
I see.
You are late for the morning devotion, so you don't get to see exactly what sort of attendance this place has.
Well, she'll still go up and approach the older man.
Miss?
Hello. I'm wondering if I could request some information about other followers that might be in the area. I'm looking to, for lack of a better word, I'm looking for the services of one that has have some power from Our Lady.
Oh, hold on just a second. Oh, well, I haven't seen any making pilgrimage through here, but well, we're not a very big place here. Sometimes I get a handful of men up from the docks who are just looking for some place to make their prayers, but honestly, I'm just nice to have someone to warm the benches in here. I'm not too picky about whether they're praying to Her Lady.
As is right, but where would I then be best to go to find one?
Well, when I need to make my own the pilgrimages, I usually go to the temple in Helmrise.
Helmrise, then.
I hear there's also one in Haragus, but well, there's a lot of crazy stuff happening in Haragus.
Cough, cough.
Yeah,
This whole fucking land is boned. Between the oozing lands and this new thing, I mean, sheesh.
Well, thank you. I will travel to either one and seek what I seek.
He makes a gesture of blessing at you and then returns to his work.
While she is here, I assume there is a place to donate.
There is at the door at the door. It is firmly chained to the wall.
Right. As she leaves, she's going to be dropping 50 gold in there.
Okay. You find yourself back out on the street.
Well, she's going to need to return to the ship. I'm going to presume that they have maps.
Yes, in quantity.
Yeah, because her, geography is not awful by now, but not great, especially from looking at something from above.
Yep. Fulton, can you roll me a perception check?
Sure.
Okay. You go looking for similar kinds of places of devotion to Eomede, and it does take you the better part of half an hour, being led by a couple lads who said that they do know where it is, before you realize that pretty much every time every time they turn a corner or go through a particularly large crowd, one of the little buggers keeps on trying to pickpocket you, so you leave them behind and try and find someone else, and you find that Iomade has no permanent temples of worship here in Freeport. That said, probably someone sets up a shrine just outside of some of the marketplaces, but that's about the largest that you'll find here.
Yeah, and all they would do at a shrine is stop by, give their prayers, and move on.
Yep.
So we'll have to look elsewhere. Back to the ship for now, then. We'll see if Chandelier did any better. And double-checking everything to make sure that one of them didn't actually get away with that pickpocketing.
No, they did not. You find everything on you that you expected to.
So I still remember that pickpocket and Ligas that got away with my incense of meditation.
Mm-hmm. You were quite angry about that.
So who wants to go back to Herakath?
I do. You want to know why? 2 reasons. I have a person to resurrect, and then I would like to nuke the city.
Yeah, it's only been 20 years now or something?
Eh. He'll acclimate. I'm acclimating. He can acclimate.
Well, somebody may have fed his body to a snake.
I don't question that sort of thing.
And
All
even
I
if
know
he
is I'm going
didn't
to
die,
resurrect
he
that
was-
man, and then I'm going to bomb his hometown into dust.
Well, even
Fuck that place.
even if he wasn't, the guy who had the place you were storing with him isn't in the party anymore.
Yeah.
Well, true resurrection doesn't need a body, right?
I believe True Resurrection needs something.
Look into that. But yeah, we do need to like raise that city to the ground, like permanently, like salt the land, set it on fire.
I think that's a yearly occurrence.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
no,
like,
you-
let's
you
be
don't-
thorough with this, because clearly it's not sticky.
You don't need a body, but you do need a way to unambiguously identify them, usually when they died and where.
I know where and how and why,
Yeah,
so
he definitely knows
this
that.
isn't a problem.
Because we have two people here who don't know, Grazin mulched a guy with non-lethal ammo.
Salt. It was salt
Accidentally.
shot. And it was an accident, complete accident, but that's probably a really terrifying way to go.
Chunky salsa. Yep.
Chunky salted salsa, I mean, Christ, like salt in the wounds the whole way down.
And we haven't been letting the player live it down since.
Nope. That's what I get for assuming that when I shoot stuff, a full attack is what I need.
Salsa.
That poor guard had only 40 hit points.
I didn't know what kind of guards they had around here.
What?
Anyways. Yeah, all the true resurrection will set you back is 25 KGP.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep. So,
I'm making
Where-
fucking cannons. What do you want me to do?
are you setting sail to Dothrup, to someplace in the Elven territories, to Helmrise or Harrogeth, or to the Ragged Axes, or straight to the Jail of Ages?
God.
I believe the point was to go in as, basically, in order of those, whichever one's closest, and to the Jail of Ages last, we arrive there with our full complement of crew.
Okay.
That is basically it, with the one exception of we don't want to take, 2 or 3 months to get there.
Yeah, no, we do want to get there still relatively quickly, but how long would it even take to get directly to the Jail of Ages from here by airship?
What is the speed of your ship?
African or European?
No.
That's a swallow.
In feet per round.
Just looking up real quick, Alchemical Dragon. $100 maximum speed.
Is that per round, or?
Yeah, I'm assuming that's, combat speed per round, yeah. It's listed under offense, so...
Yeah, if you're thinking the speed listed there, that is its movement speed, and as a ship it cannot hustle by double moving. So let's see here. If I remember right, it was either just straight over? What was it? Here we go. If your speed is... Okay. Div 10, it turns straight into from feet per round to miles per hour. So, you said 100?
Correct.
Okay. So that'd make 10 miles an hour. It'd be 40 hours as the Stormcrow flies. to the Jail of Ages. On the map, the unit is miles.
I do find it funny that a galley is actually faster.
Well, I'm technically faster.
Well, do you want to pull the boat?
I would if I could.
We could technically go through a gate and then go through a gate back.
Don't want to waste a gate, sure.
I don't waste
actually.
shit, but I mean,
Yeah, she can kind of gate pretty easily.
I've got 12 per day.
Never mind, let's just gate everywhere then. Screw it.
No, that's a horrible idea. We should not actually be doing that.
Oh, we'll go through the Shadowlands every time. Come on, it's like 40k.
As the
Yeah,
crow
you
flies,
just-
you could make it to Helmrise before nightfall, Harrogeth before dawn, or the Jail of Ages on... what day is it today? It is Monday. You could make it to the Jail of Ages Wednesday evening.
I put my vote for the Ragged Axes. We need to pick up your crew more than anything else.
That being said, Helmrise is a lot closer, and we might as well stop there in a single day's worth of travel, and we could still recruit.
Only problem with that is Helm's Rise is in the Black Zone. And I severely doubt they're going to have anything to spare. I'm not saying they, like, completely won't, but you're not going to get what you think out of it, is my theory.
Well, hey, Roxhold was too.
Roxhold was also a capital, so it's probably doing better than, like, this Podunk fish town.
I don't think this is a Podunk fish town.
I don't think a
Comparatively-
Podunk fish town has an airship dock.
Okay, well, comparatively, a Podunk fish town.
Anything that's big enough to be taking up more than one square on this map does not qualify as podunk.
Look,
I'm
we're
just
looking-
saying the blackness turns me off. That's all. Just like it sends warning
Well, that's
bells.
racist. And we've
Shut
been
you.
over this already with my drow, you bastard.
Shut up.
How dare you say that about black women, Bill Hat?
I am being so fucking attacked right now.
You're being attacked.
Either way, that's where I want to set sail to. If there's no one there, we just leave.
Uh-huh. It
Well,
just,
it's full of-
just becomes a pit stop.
What if it's full of Gilroy Mouthies disguised as mimics?
Because, quite honestly, she can go there, recruit. If there's no one there, get on the ship, and we can sail during the night.
Or fly. You know, this thing can fly.
That is what the word sail is used for on an airship.
Keep in mind, I don't sleep and can see perfectly well in the dark.
Yeah, neither
Same.
do I. So I can actually just order people around at night.
So can I, actually. Yeah, I'm sleeping for the week.
No,
Fulton
you
is the only
can't,
one who sleeps
because
anymore.
I haven't given you authority to order those people around.
Oh, like they're gonna say no to someone who's a giant fucking golem. They're gonna say yes, sir, and then complain to you about it.
I don't think he knows how command works on a ship.
He doesn't know
I'm-
how command works between people.
Ouch! Jesus.
Well, first he casts the spell command, and
Historically,
then Skull
come
Hat
on.
finally stops talking.
What?
Wham!
Anyway.
Oh, you're going
Helmrise.
home. Man, I'm already home. Damn it.
Helmrise has a functioning airship dock. It is not made for a vessel of yours' stature.
Girth.
Stature.
I don't know if the issue is it's too wide. I mean, it's perfectly narrow enough. It's just, it's got those extra bits.
Really?
Those are kind of-
That's
God.
what she said.
God damn it. Please
You
help
go
me.
for the after some shouted consult with the people who man the docks below. You go for the Freeport solution of simply taking a position at the seaside dock.
With the world's biggest fucking gangplank.
Gets things done.
Not wrong. Good luck recruiting. I'm gonna resume making fucking cannons.
Yep. Assume Fulton's coming along.
Yes.
And I'm doing whatever needs to be done on the ship, because that's my thing now.
Now we're going to see if Helmrise is any kind of structure for Iomade.
Fulton, you see the holy symbol of Iomade on a building on a building's pinnacle from the air.
Oh, good.
But everyone else just sees a giant pile of garbage.
No.
Okay, I need to go eat some food, so I might need to call it here. But since I'm just making fucking cannons, not a big deal, so you can continue without me.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
have
if it
fun.
important happens, I'll point it out on the stream.
Thank you.
All right.
Alright.
Night, Chris.
Hey, you see the symbol of the giant symbol of Iomade? It has been partially crossed out and replaced with a porn theater.
Thus, you know Lindahl has taken over.
Of course, what's funny is the symbol of Iomade is a sword. So it's basically a sword attached to the top of this building.
In neon light. No. But yes, you recognize a structure of devotion to Iomade quite easily during your approach. Meanwhile, Shinalar does have to take a little while in order to get reliable directions deep into the city, pretty much all the way back at the inland side of the city. Helmrise is not a walled city, but it is. They've tried to compact it down to the shore side, and it has a fairly distinct inland fringe, as opposed to just getting thinner and thinner and thinner. She has to go quite a far ways back from the shore in order to finally find a. It is a temple. It's smaller than you would have thought, but you recognize the architecture, having seen it once in your own magnificent mansion analog, and once in, well, person. This is definitely a temple to Milani.
You gave one too many Fs there.
I don't really give a shit. Well, she's not going to raise it to the ground, so she's approaching.
Raise it to the ground yet.
You enter. You find that there's, well, it seems like this place opens its doors to the poor of the city, because the courtyard proper seems to have been set up as a bit of a flop house. There's lots of people just sleeping around the peripheries of the yard. There is a room at the far end of the yard that's apparently still lit by candlelight. The sun did set like half an hour ago.
Well, follow the light. And then she dies because she went towards the light.
Oh no.
You find within a very tired-looking man who is busy, apparently, in making duplicates of Holy Verse, although he is doing so simply by leaning back in his chair and waggling a finger at the at a quill that's copying out another scroll. So, at least there's that.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh, it's no charge for the courtyard. Just find yourself a warm spot.
Do I truly look like I need one?
This time he looks up at you and actually looks and stands, rises all the way to his feet, just so that he can take a bit of a half bow. Ma'am, hello.
Greetings. What can you tell me about the congregation in this area?
Well, we mostly just serve the people of the city as much as we can. Do you mean of our flock or of our hierarchy?
The latter, if you please.
Oh, okay. There is, let's see here. There's myself. There's, he lists off 5 or 6 names, and he, all of them seem to be simple priests from the titles that he's giving. None of them have have any significant rank. The organization of Milani is made to kind of parallelize a military officer structure, but obviously it uses its own set of titles.
Mm-hmm. I see. Well, I'm on a... do not like to call this a mission. It sounds too overdramatic, but it is of very high importance to Our Lady. And I'm seeking one that she favors greatly. I wish to ask for their services for a period of time.
Oh.
I was wondering if you knew where I could find such a person.
Well, Marcus might be up for that sort of thing. He doesn't like just pushing the broom around you, if you understand. I could talk to him in the morning. Marcus is one of the names that he dropped of priests.
That would be wonderful, please.
Sure, just come back by in the morning.
Thank you.
You'll recognize him. He's the only blonde-haired one of us.
She'll bow to him in return and make her leave.
She comes back in the morning to find this bald guy who happens to have a blonde beard.
Fulton.
Clang, clang, clang.
Your entry seems to momentarily interrupt evening service, but then everyone goes back to what they're doing when they notice that it is a man in very heavy armor who has just come in through the door.
And not, say, a battalion.
Yes. It is an man who came in through the door.
But there is service going on.
There is.
Is it just the standard of people acting on their own, or is there some kind of group praying, or...
It seems that you walked in on the middle of a sermon. There is a priest in very decorative robes on a raised platform who seems to be quoting something from the holy book, and everyone else is simply sitting respectfully and listening to the sermon.
Right. Then Fulton's going to stand aside from the door until that's finished, because he is not interrupting that.
Soft clang. Soft clang.
Yes, he'd sit down, but it's a bit louder.
Yep. After another 20 or so minutes, the service seems to complete, and people begin making their way out, and many of the common folk shy over to the far side of the aisle away from you, but some simply nod their head and walk on past.
And nods will be returned.
And eventually there's only a few dozen people still occupying the pews and in keeping to themselves, and a number of priests going about ceremonial duties about the front of the temple. One of them does directly approach you after a short time. What can I do a good servant for?
I am seeking able-bodied followers of the Light of the Sword.
More of that business with Aragath?
No, though I can't rule it out entirely. That is not what our current problem is.
Thought you might be with those inquisitors came by last week.
Last week.
Last week. A few came through and asked for the aid of one of ours. They were headed to Hargith, they said.
No, though I am aware of them. That is actually slightly unusual. No, but I have come in on the airship recently docked with the city.
Incredibly recently. I haven't...
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't pay attention to the comings and goings of the merchant ships. But what can I do for you?
We contract with the Ministry of Adventuring.
Mm-hmm.
And we find ourselves in need of those blessed with Our Lady's light.
Well, very well. I could see who is still fit for duty in the without. Actually, I've got a lad in mind right now. And he bids you wait and wanders off. And eventually comes back with a man who you're fairly sure that he is actually wearing chainmail underneath his robes. And he does indeed have an amazing mustache, but he is not bald. You might be worried that Garazan would get jealous of this mustache.
That's a bold statement.
It goes from ear to ear and drops just below the level of the chin.
All right, then. Fulton will give the man a nod.
He nods back. The priest who originally came out to speak to you. This is Tannen. He is mute, but he believes in serving with. He believes in serving with fist forward and arms outstretched. I'm sure anyone who's with need of armor like yours would find him a good sideman.
Fulton's going to look at Tannen for a moment. And mostly doing examinations of such a thing. Tannen? Okay, yes.
They're setting us up the Tannenbaum.
Oh, God. Why?
That one is not mine. You can put that entirely on Kaylee's head.
Why would you do this, Kaylee?
Hi.
Must you say these things?
Yes.
Anyway,
It's in my contract.
Great, thank you. Fulton's gonna do some aura examining on Tannen.
Naughty.
God.
Pardon me. Cannon appears fit and carries an aura that you might have in your younger days.
Mostly, I'm making sure, can he channel?
You suspect he could. Do you have knowledge local?
Local?
That is the appropriate skill for understanding the abilities of classes.
I do actually have 1 point in knowledge local. It makes my total of seal mod a 3.
Oh god, do we need to get like Garazin in here just to tell us the people who can cast spells?
Would anything else help with that?
Knowledge local.
Okay, I'll roll my d20 plus 3. I don't think I even have that on my skill marker, actually, because it's a
so
3.
low. Yep.
I'll double check. No, I don't.
Can you just, like, ask him and then do a sense motive to tell if he's lying?
He's mute.
So, he can nod.
You need more body language than that for sense motive.
Little bit.
Now, zone of
Then
influence,
start
on the other
reading
hand.
him and look how bad he looks at you.
In any case, Fulton will, after a moment of looking at him, simply ask, "Can you channel, Tannen?"
He nods gruffly.
Then you would seem to be perfectly fit for what I'm looking for.
Now, nail yourself to this spot on the deck and make sure no one within 30 feet of you dies.
Well, you've managed to find one of the 10
Yes,
that we need.
yes, I know. I know. Fulton will turn to the priest who can speak. We will need others, any who may wish to volunteer, though we'll certainly be being paid.
Well, I'm afraid we sent all 5 of those boys to Harrogate with the Inquisitors.
Let's go kill the Inquisitors again.
We weren't the ones who killed them all in the first place.
We basically ended up being the reason they all died, though. Like, all the ones that were in power at the time.
Well, there was only like 2 around, and one was corrupt, and one was a golem.
Yes, and what happened to them?
The Golden Inquisitor killed all the other Inquisitors, and then we killed him.
See? We still killed what was left of all the Inquisitors. So we need to go back and finish the job.
And Fulton, I can't remember, do you still have the Silver Inquisitor in...
I believe it was handed off to either Sheena Lair or Garazan at some point.
It'd be
We'll have to check
Garazin.
that.
It would not be she.
I'm pretty sure
Lindell-
Garazan has the head.
I'm pretty
We'll have
sure
to
we left
ask
him in
him.
the basement.
I don't know if we left it there.
It's... The body is there. I don't know about the head.
I
I'm
guess-
pretty
I
sure you
think we
guys
actually-
were carrying it around.
No, I think we actually kept it around, which, really, we should be treating it probably a little bit better.
Because it just spent, 40 years in Garazan's backpack, apparently completely silent.
Yeah, that's kind of odd, actually. That would have really retconned his experience.
There is nothing to talk about in these planes. Take me back to Golden Inquisitor.
Oh yeah, because was that included in your summary, by the way?
I did not make specific mention of that particular Inquisition.
Well, no, I mean where Garazan got stuck somewhere for a
Well,
while.
the summary
That
for our
did,
sessions
yes.
hasn't come up yet, right?
Yeah, I've not done it yet.
The summary's up for the ones up until I joined.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So at some point here, Paige and Hillary, Garazin got trapped in a time-altered area of a plane for how long was it?
40 years from his perspective.
That was interesting.
Right.
And then we wish that he forgot about it all.
Yeah.
Well,
And he
now
did.
he's a golem, so it doesn't really matter.
And so
I am proud for that to be completely my fault.
Did he take up a hobby or something? What did he do?
Stone carving, mostly, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he started talking to them as he lost his mind.
Yeah, he subsisted on small, oily lizards that lived in the rocks and rocks. He was basically lost on a facet of a neutral aligned plane that was geographically quite close to the negative energy plane. So the only living things were these lizards that live in the cracks in the rocks. So that means that as of when they left Legis, Garazin is wearing lizard skin armor to replace the stuff that wore out over those 40 years, has a gruesome scar where apparently a limb was severed and then reattached, and no memory of how either of these things happened, nor why his beard is now flecked with gray.
Not that it matters anymore.
Right.
Yeah, now he's a golem, so...
Yep, I accidentally opened up a gate that he got sucked into.
Yes, we were constantly told, do not teleport within this city, and then someone tried to teleport within the city.
And then when he got back, I
That seems about right, actually.
Hey, at least it was the evil wizard.
So
I liked playing that character.
We could tell.
So, yes, according to this man, the only other service in the world at large, capable members of their order at the moment, are escorting some inquisitors in or about Harrogath.
Alright, Fulton will turn to Tannen.
Bomb.
God, why?
Biff Tannen?
Sir Tannen, you are free to remain here for the night if you wish, or you may accompany me to the airship now to meet the rest of the expedition.
He hoists briefly what looked to you like a simple pouch at his waist, but it appears he hoists it as though to draw your attention to it, drops it back to his side, takes half a step toward you, and waits.
Out of character, I am missing the significance of that. I understand he's going to follow. I don't know what the pouch is.
All its belongings?
Suppose.
His material component pouch?
His larynx?
What?
His colostomy bag?
Oh, God, why?
Well, he's mute, so he might be carrying it with him.
Okay, Tayo, please confirm it is not his colostomy bag.
He is just trying to give the impression that he has everything he needs.
Okay, that's what
Including
I thought.
his
Just
colostomy bag.
stop. Fulton will nod, turn to the other priest we never got the name of. Thank you. I'll be looking into this Inquisition.
He nods dismissively as though the whole issue is resolved as far as he's concerned and walks away back to his duties.
Well, it is resolved as far as he's concerned.
Duty. Colostomy bag.
Fulton will nod one last time to Tannen and start marching out the door. Because he cannot walk in anything but a march while wearing that armor.
You and Tannen return uneventfully to the airship to find Chenelaire has already returned.
Oh, who is this?
Tannen. A fellow follower of my lady. He can channel, as requested.
A pleasure. Welcome aboard.
Tannen, this would be the captain.
Chandelier will bow.
He appears capable of a grunt of acknowledgement, and returns the bow.
Yes, he is mute.
Ah. Well, I'm sure that won't be an issue.
Who's sicker?
Paige.
Uh,
You're doing
push to
something
talk
to
is
tap to
coming
push
on
to
and
talk.
off.
What?
Were you
you're
hitting
coming-
I was typing.
What? Which is your key for push to talk?
I'll make it not enter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try
Yeah.
control or something.
Yeah, you want something you're not going to hit. That's why I put it on my mouse.
Also, yes, this is a lot of how our sessions go, so if you find that funny, that's good.
Yeah, we're stupid.
All right, there we go.
Also,
I
I suggest you map a key to mute yourself. I use Alt tilde, just to toggle the mute on and off,
In case you ever need it.
just so that you can prevent yourself accidentally coming through when you say need to cough or something.
All right.
I personally don't, but then that's because mine just doesn't come through at all unless I press the button really hard.
Yep.
Hey, if you like people who constantly interrupt with idiotic jokes, I'm your guy.
So Tannen looks about the airship, decides that you two aren't speaking directly to him anymore, and makes his way below deck. Hopefully, he's looking for somewhere to sleep.
Hopefully.
Fulton, please make sure he gets situated.
It's not going to be in my bed.
I
Even though I'm
will.
asleep.
But there's some news first.
Yes.
Do you remember the Inquisition from Harrogate? With the Silver Inquisitor?
How could I forget?
It seems they're operating again.
I thought we acquired their entire books.
We did.
I didn't expect the Inquisition.
I think
Must be
perhaps
Spanish.
we should make a stop.
I presume they're still in Harrogate?
Yes.
Well, it's likely where I would need to be going regardless. I've been told that Milani's people are also working in Harrogate.
Yes, it seems most of the channeling capable clerics of Iomade have been taken there as well.
That seems suspicious.
Yes.
Well, let's go kick some ass and get those clerks.
Well, I have to make one meeting in the morning. I may have a recruit on my end. After that, we can leave immediately. I was hoping to have spent a little time here finding some more sailors, but perhaps it would be better to go to Harrogate first.
I was hoping never to have to go back there.
Likewise.
Fulton will shake his head and then go down below decks to make sure Tannen has found where to go. Mostly because it's a very big airship.
For now, wait till I get it fully stocked with people. It'll feel quite small, probably.
Pretty sure Tannen went back to the future.
Though actually, I think my capacity in this galley is still larger than my allotment of actual crew members that are under leadership.
It is.
Flux capacity?
That may change if I actually, hire other things. Or if we have to take refugees from whatever we're doing.
Start making money out of those crash checks. Bring 100 Tianxia loomsmen aboard and have them making clothing that you can sell to, at cut rates in Freeport.
See, the funny thing is I was actually kind of considering making this I mean, it's going to be Sheena Lair's portable home, which will include basically a small town. So
I'm just saying, don't call me a monster or anything, but I'm just saying, if instead of getting 100 master loomsmen, you got 200 children,
God
you could
damn
really
it.
speed up this.
Your
It's a
tiny
long
hands
flight.
are good at making the stitches.
It's a long flight all the way over to the Asian Adventures storylines. Okay,
So-
sorry. I couldn't help that one. I'm sorry.
God.
So, anyways, we'll call session there for the night.
Send your letters to.
God, we're awful people. Oh.
Yes. Send your hate mail to the YouTube comments thread, as usual.
We get hate mail? I've only seen the good stuff about Heartbreaker.
Also
Jesus.
Goose.
Please, no ulcer goose. We had enough ulcer goose.